Record Store Day 2025 is coming up fast on Saturday, April the 12th, and it's going to be another great year for music fans to line up and try to get those sweet, sweet vinyl exclusives. Personally, I'm not interested in every release for Record Store Day this year, but I thought I'd run down my own picks for LPs to pick up on Record Store Day, so here we go. Better Than Ezra are releasing an RSD Orange Crush vinyl version of their 1998 album How Does Your Garden Grow for Record Store Day this year, and I believe it could be the first time it's being released on vinyl, but I could be wrong about that. I absolutely loved this record when it came out in 1998. I bought it on CD, which I still own in my collection. I was a huge Better Than Ezra fan at that time, and you know what? They're still a great band. And it also features some great Better Than Ezra songs on here. At the Stars, Allison Foley, Live Again, Pull, all great tracks. And it also features the song One More Murder, which was featured on the X-Files Fight the Future movie soundtrack in the summer of 1998. It's a great track, and How Does Your Garden Grow is a great record for Better Than Ezra fans to pick up on vinyl for the first time this Record Store Day. Blur's album, The Magic Whip, that's right, you can't just say whip, you got to say whip, is celebrating its 10th anniversary. The band is celebrating with a Record Store Day exclusive LP. This was the reunion of the band's original lineup back in 2015. It comes on a Zoetrope picture disc and has original artwork as well. Chevelles' 1999 debut album, Point Number One, is being released on vinyl for the very first time, and the band is releasing it on a very cool lemonade-colored LP. The record was produced by the late, great Steve Albini, and if you're a Chevelle fan who collects their albums on vinyl, you'll definitely want to pick this one up because this is the one that started it all. Liam Gallagher is releasing a vinyl version of his digital-only Acoustic Sessions EP from 2020. It's being released on a Color in Color silver and blue vinyl. It features him performing his solo tracks as well as some Oasis classics, including his version of the Oasis song Sad Song, which originally featured Noel Gallagher on vocals back in the 90s when it came out as a B-side, so that's really cool. I wasn't really planning on buying any vinyl and lining up for this year's Record Store Day, but if it's anything Oasis involved, you know what? I probably got to get it. But well, you know what? We'll see. Chino doesn't feel like lining up this year. The estate of the late great Beatle George Harrison and Record Store Day have entered into a partnership to release every George Harrison solo studio album on Zoetrope exclusive RSD vinyl. The next release in the series is his classic triple album, All Things Must Pass. It's a classic record and one of the best Beatles solo records. So many good songs on here. The title track, of course, My Sweet Lord, Wah Wah, Beware of Darkness, Isn't It a Pity? It's a classic album through and through, and it's a cool partnership too to release every George album on Zoetrope. If you're a Beatles collector, you're going to be lining up early for this one, I can guarantee it. Australian rockers Jet, who have also recently just gotten back together, are releasing Get Born rarities, featuring B-sides, demos, and live tracks from the 2003 era of their debut album, Get Born. This is the kind of RSD release that I really like to see. Songs that may have been released already, but are a lot harder to find on physical media, whether that be CD or vinyl. Like, unless you maybe collected all the Jet singles back in the day or have a digital archive of every track, this stuff really isn't super easy to find. Most RSD releases are just re-releases of albums we already know, so it's nice to see a release with some rarities and B-sides. So if you're a Jet fan and you don't have a lot of these songs on vinyl, then Get Born rarities is definitely going to be one to pick up this Record Store Day. This one is pretty cool. The Killers and Bruce Springsteen have a joint Record Store Day release coming out featuring an encore performance from when Bruce Springsteen played with the Killers on stage back in 2022. They played 3 awesome Springsteen tracks, Badlands, Dustland, and Bored to Run, and this performance was recorded at Madison Square Garden in New York City, and it's the first time that it's being released on vinyl. And you would think about it, the Killers definitely have a Springsteen influence in their sound, so it only makes sense that they put out this one. This is actually a really cool collaboration. So if you love the Killers and Bruce Springsteen, this is going to be one to pick up on Record Store Day. Oasis are releasing a 4-color LP deluxe edition set of their 2010 hits album Time Flies, featuring the band's singles from 1994 to 2009. This came out after the band broke up in 2009, and I actually don't have Time Flies on vinyl at all, even though I have every other album from Oasis on LP and CD, but this one is going to be a little bit pricey. You got 4 colored LPs. It's an RSD exclusive. It might be a little bit too rich for my blood, but I was thinking, like, if I was in the record store a couple days afterwards and I saw it on the shelf and maybe had some disposable income, which I never have, I'd definitely go for it. But you know what? I'd say it's not really worth lining up for songs that I already own multiple times over, but if I see it later on, I might just have to get it. Rage Against the Machine are releasing an LP of raw, unmixed live tracks from the band's very first world tour back in 1993. It features songs from the band's classic first record, and it's an RSD first release, so it will be released in other capacities later, but RSD gets first crack at it. The vinyl will include an etching and 3 sides of music. The album has recordings of Rage in their prime, so it's definitely worth a pickup. Speaking of bands in their prime, Stone Temple Pilots are releasing Live in New Haven 1994, featuring the band performing just after the release of their classic sophomore album Purple, and appropriately, it's going to be released on 2 Purple LPs, just in time for Record Store Day, and of course features the band playing huge hits like Vaseline, Plush, and Interstate Love Song in 1994, which really is kind of like the best era for Stone Temple Pilots. And lastly, The Verve are releasing their 1993 live album Voyager 1, which received a very limited vinyl release back when it came out in 93 and was meant to introduce the band to the American market, but I guess it never really worked out that way. The songs were recorded in both London and New York before the release of the band's debut album, A Storm in Heaven. And you know what? You think about it, the band didn't really make much of a splash in North America at the time in 1993, but The Verve would later go on to make a much bigger splash in the North American market when their album Urban Hymns was released in 1997. It's a little bit of a slow year for Brit rock releases for Record Store Day, but between the Oasis stuff and The Verve, there might be some stuff for Record Store Day fans who love British rock to pick up next Saturday. And that is the list of Record Store Day releases that I'm looking forward to. Make sure you hop into the comments below and let me know which Record Store Day releases that you're going to be lining up to pick up on April the 12th. And of course, Record Store Day is coming up very, very soon. Saturday, April the 12th. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hop in the comments below. Let me know which releases you're looking forward to. Make sure to smash the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. And make sure to follow me on social media at Nick Chino Music. And I'll see you guys again for another video here on the channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.